Welcome to Pimpy's Investment Chat, where we keep investment talk simple. And here's your host, Pimpy.
What is going on out there, peeps? All right, it's time to reflect on what type of investor are you? Are you a gambler or are you a poker player? So before we get started, do me a favor and hit that thumbs up button because it helps us get past the YouTube algorithm. And also, if you're not a subscriber, please do so because when you do, it helps out the channel and I surely do appreciate that. A quick disclaimer, I am not a financial advisor, an accountant, nor an attorney. The advice that I give is freely and of my own opinion. Hey folks, just a quick reminder that back in 2008 and 9, a lot of people lost all of their retirement savings in their 401ks and IRAs because they did not own gold and silver. Yeah, that's right, gold and silver protects you from a market crash. So do yourself a favor, protect your retirement by purchasing gold and silver. You can go to moneymetals.com, reach out to them, and they will help you set yourself up to protect you and your family from having to start all over from scratch. If you're a first-time buyer and you spend more than $100, use promo code Pimpy, P-I-M-P-Y, and they will send along with your order a free half ounce of silver. So folks, do yourself a favor, head on over to moneymetals.com and protect you and your family from a market crash, as well as inflation. So head on over there now. You can actually own physical gold and silver. Go to our friends at Money Metals Exchange. The link is down below in the description. And don't forget to use promo code Pimpy, P-I-M-P-Y. If you spend more than $100, you will get a free half ounce of silver. For those of you looking for my address, there it is right here. And you guys know I have an alternative website where I post original content as well as other content that is banned from YouTube. It's $3 a month. All proceeds go to Finding Life's Purpose Foundation, and you have unlimited access. Be very careful of people out there trying to impersonate me. They're asking people to send them money. Don't fall for it. I will not ask you to go to WhatsApp, nor will I ask you to go to Telegram. And here's how you know if I'm the one responding to any of your comments. A person makes a comment. If I respond, you'll see a dark circle around my name. See that? From time to time, I will use material that is copywritten. Just so you know, I am exercising my fair use rights. Kenny Rogers had a hit song called The Gambler. It said you had to know when to hold 'em, know when to fold 'em, know when to walk away, and know when to run. But that's not the true story of a gambler. True gamblers take risk, real risk. The rewards are high if they are correct. If they are wrong, the losses are heavy. Kenny Rogers' song about a gambler is more about a poker player, not a gambler. The difference is this. Poker players are strategists. They take their time, they read the people, they read the field, they read the temperature of how things are moving, and they respond that way. I'm going to tell you a quick story. I used to work for a casino. I was an accountant there. I was walking across the casino floor one time and got snagged up by a pit boss who said that he needed me to sit on a table, a poker table. And I told him I was in the middle of work that day. He goes, no, you don't get it. The casino rules are, if a table is about to collapse, in other words, where people are playing poker, if the number of players starts to dwindle down too low, they have to shut the table down. The casino loses money because the players then have to wait till there's another seat available to be seated. Statistics show us that they're too impatient. They'll leave and go somewhere else where they could play right away. So, because of that, any employee who is walking by, who's needed to fill in a seat, has to sit down and play poker on house money. You get up to $2,500 at the casino I was playing at. It's house money. How it goes is, you could lose all $2,500. It doesn't cost you anything. Anything you win above the $2,500, you get to keep, as long as the house gets their $2,500 back. And I thought, wow, this is really cool, because then I was a gambler. I would gamble my butt off, man. I would take high risk. It wasn't my money. It was house money. But I learned how to play really, really good. As a matter of fact, I was a stud player, but because of the number of times I walked by, magically, I got chosen to sit and play Texas Hold'em. So I had to learn how to play that game really quick. I got really good at it. After work, I'd go sit down and play Texas Hold'em almost every night after work. I made a lot of good friends. One of them was a guy named James. When I started entering into tournaments, I kept losing right away. I was always getting knocked out of tournaments really quick. And one day, right before a tournament, James walks up to me and he says, "Hey, I don't understand something. You're one of the best poker players I know, but you keep getting knocked out of tournaments. So I'm trying to figure out what it is that's going through your head." He says, "So when you go into a tournament, what is your goal?" I said, "My goal? To win, obviously." He goes, "Well, besides that," I go, "Well, look at the size of the prizes. You can see how much you win, thousands of dollars." He says, "Y'all, you're focused on the money." I go, "Yes." Then he goes, "This is how well James knows me." He quickly implemented a strategy by saying these words. He goes, "Look, I've known you a long time. Your approach is all wrong. The money will come if you win. And I know you can win if you take a different approach and you have a strategy." He says, "Right now in this room is 400 tournament players." I said, "Yep." He says, "Every one of them thinks they're smarter than you are." I was like, "What?" I was like, he knows how I feel about that kind of stuff. And I go, "They're not smarter." He goes, "Yeah, but that's what being in a tournament's about. Your goal should be, how can I outsmart 400 tournament players in this tournament?" Well, that for some reason pissed me off because I couldn't stand the thought of 400 people in a room being smarter than I was. And so I changed my strategy. I started studying people more, watching their body languages, feeling the temperature on a table, because sometimes you could get on there and just know that a table is just ugly. There is no trend that you could pick up on. It's just random how people are winning. There's all kinds of things you pick up as a poker player versus when you're a gambler. Well, once I changed my strategy, I made it 9 consecutive times to the finals table. I won 3 of those times, which is not too bad. People used to do what's called side hustle or side betting. They'd bet on what players would show up on the finals table, and people were making a ton of money betting that I would make it to the finals, which was exciting, but I didn't know about that because I had people coming up giving what's called gratitude tips. So they come up and go, "Hey, man, get tournament," and they would hand me money. I was like, "What is this for?" They go, "Just my way of saying thank you." And then later on, I found out they were tipping me a percentage of all the money that they were winning, betting that I'd get to the finals table, which is a whole other thing altogether. My strategy changed. Instead of just taking big risk, I started strategizing on how I wanted to outsmart everybody. The whole idea that 400 people in a room, in some cases thousands of people in a room, being smarter than me just rubbed me the wrong way. I became smarter about the poker game itself and then how to read people. I bring that up because I notice that whenever we're talking about investments, a lot of times people are more gamblers than they are poker players. I notice we speak a lot on my Facebook group about what is the latest and greatest thing to invest in, but a lot of people don't spend the time to do the actual research into it. Now, I get it. There's a lot of people that say, "Pimpy, I know, but you take the time for us." And you're right. I do as much as possible. And that's one tactic. You know what I mean? You say, "Look, I work all day. I got kids. I listen to your show, and then I'm informed." But I'm talking about there's people out there who don't listen to shows, who don't watch YouTube, who just come into the group. And I've spoken to a handful of them, and I didn't know that those people existed, but they're real. In the group, they don't watch the show. They don't read articles. They just watch the post and see what people say is the latest and the greatest and the hottest thing to get into. That is gambling with your money. You have no idea if it's going to be successful or not. You just jump into it, spend a lot of money, and hope that these people are correct. Okay? So we're going to try to be more of a poker player. That's what you really want. You want to strategize. That's what I'm going to do with cryptocurrencies. When it comes to cryptocurrencies, hey, look, I was more of a gambler than I was a poker player. I knew a lot of things about each of the cryptocurrencies, but the truth of the matter is there is a whole other strategy that I am learning that I will be bringing to you guys that we should all be aware of so that we're not gambling with our money. Okay? I've said this before, and I spoke about this changes that I wanted, and I will be doing that. Just to bring it up because it's entertaining to me, Plan B, look, man, saying 63,000 in October. We're going to keep an eye on that number because it started to run, then it started to drop, and it's back up where it is. So let's see who's going to win. We are only at the end of October. December's still a couple months away. We know what the shorts are on Bitcoin. I'm curious to see how close the price is going to get, if at all, to either plan B or the people selling a short contract. So you can see today the gold is above 1800 as it should be, and silver's at 2415. So looking pretty good. Both of them are heading in the right direction. Silver kind of horizontal at the moment. We saw since the beginning of, or the end of last month, it was going in a great direction. 3 weeks into this month, and then all of a sudden it came back down. And it was averaging about $1 increase per week. It went up about $3. Okay, so silver for the year, after a whole summer of doing nothing, along with gold, are finally starting to see some gains. Like we spoke before, we know Basel III. It was supposed to happen some 4 months ago in June. Basel III was supposed to be implemented. We were waiting for gold and silver prices to take off, but we know they got a postponement until the beginning of 2022. This time around, we're being told once again that there is no more extensions. That is it. We'll see how that affects gold and silver market. It says gold climbs back above 1800 as U.S. GDP disappoints. What are they surprised about? Here's what gets me. We keep being told that the U.S. purchasing power, the dollar, is getting stronger. But then they turn around and tell us, wow, our GDP is disappointing. Unemployment numbers are really disappointing. But then they try to convince us that the dollar's stronger. Don't fall for that kind of news. Right now, you should look at buying gold and silver as it's on sale. Right now, you're getting a bargain. It is going to go up. There's no escaping it. They printed way too much money. Things are way out of control. Evergrande over in China, and now not only their second, but the third largest developers in real estate are all missing their payments. They're extended beyond their ability when it comes to credit. They're going to default on the loans. And why that's important is those companies have a lot of U.S. investors involved in them. You have pension funds that are tied to these developers. You have hedge funds that are tied to these developers. You have a lot of people who are invested into those companies as part of their retirement nest egg. They default and they collapse. Guess what happens? So does your holdings in IRAs or 401ks if those companies are invested into these development companies over in China. So gold and silver, once again, is your best bet. Right now, I talk to people that go, Pimpy, I don't want to move my money out of my 401ks and IRAs. I know it's a risk. That's because you're gambling. You're a gambler. You're like, oh, I like the rush. I like how much my money has grown since it's been in my 401k and my IRA. We all do when you make a lot of money. Who doesn't? What I'm saying to you is you should protect yourself. And I get it. Gold and silver have been kind of stagnant. Meanwhile, your 401ks and your IRAs are growing because of the artificially pumped up market. So why shouldn't you take advantage of that and benefit from it? I understand that 100%. But what I'm saying to you is this. By doing that, you are gambling. Because when this market crashes, most markets crash slowly over a few months period. But sometimes we have that initial drop. It just drops. What's going on in overseas markets happens in the nighttime while you're sleeping. And then you wake up, you're like, what the hell just happened on the market? It's already down 400. 500 points today, 600. Well, we all know what happens is people panic. And remember, on the East Coast, you wake up first. People on the West Coast, you're SOL. People panic. Most speculators, they start rushing to sell all of their investments. It causes a run on the market. What'll happen is Wall Street automatically shuts down after X% of a loss to prevent a run on the market. Cryptocurrencies do it too. If there's a huge drop, people panic. They start running over to the platforms to sell because they don't want to lose a lot of money. All of a sudden, magically, you can't get on the platform. There's always an excuse. The same with Robinhood, Coinbase, any of those platforms. You cannot get on there because magically there's some kind of maintenance. It's down for some reason. We seen yesterday with everybody rushing to buy Shiba, it was pretty hard to get on the platforms. So in my opinion, being a poker player when it comes to investing is smart. I get there's a lot of money you're gaining. I get that. But there is no doubt that we are going to see a crash. And it's going to be the biggest crash we've ever seen in our life. What I'm saying is hedge against your bets. There's nothing wrong with protecting your nest egg by putting 25-30% into gold and silver. Go over to our friends at Money Metals. They will help you with your strategy. They will help you with your transfer. A lot of my subscribers has done this. If the market does crash, you lose your little nest egg in your 401k or your IRAs, or the majority of it, you still have your gold and silver sitting there protecting you. Now, I will tell you in advance, this happens, and I showed examples of this. When everything crashes, you will see gold and silver go down a little bit. It does, like everything else. You might see it lose 20%, but don't panic, because here's the big difference. That is, gold and silver then all of a sudden quickly recover. Why? Because when the market crashes and people start to lose their money and they need money for whatever reason, if they're already retired, one of the first things they sell is their gold and silver. So it floods the market, causing the value of gold and silver to go down temporarily. And then all of a sudden, people are like, we don't trust risky assets. You'll see gold and silver shoot up like a bat out of you know what. So it's better just to be holding on to it, just to protect yourself. So yeah, gold is going up. It's above the 1800. We want to see it get above I'll say the 1825, which is the resistance level. And then we'll see it take off a little bit more. So here we have Bitcoin is showing in the green, but again, it's at 59,000. It was up to 66,900. That's a pretty good sized little drop, but it's still teetering. It's been teetering now for a couple of days between about that high 58,000 and low 61,000. So it's not any huge loss or gain. It's just been kind of sitting there horizontally. I still think there's a couple reasons why people were taking some of their other cryptocurrencies and converting them over to Shiba and trying to ride this roller coaster. And that's one of the reasons. Plus, the futures on Bitcoins does not look very good. If that's the case, that's going to be driving it down as well. But even so, you can look at, my favorite, Ethereum. It's up above that 4,100. The Ethereum high for the 52-week average is at 4,366.09. It's a couple hundred away from hitting that. Nice. Get on over there, Ethereum. Let's see how the Ethereum killers are doing. Cardano's up 1.25%. Solana's up 1.93%. Look at how they are. They're in order here, by the way. Bitcoin being number 1, Ethereum number 2. Binance sitting here at number 3. Tether is a stable coin. It won't really move that much. But look at Cardano's up there. In the top 10. Solana's up there in the top 10. So Cardano and Solana, the so-called Ethereum killers, are up in the top 10. So is Polkadot. Polkadot is up there, and it's in the positive today at 0.75%. Dogecoin trying to make a comeback after getting pimp slapped around by Shiba. My money's still on this dog right here in this dog fight between Dogecoin and Shiba. I'll put my money on Shiba. As a matter of fact, that's where a lot of it is. Settling down somewhere around 4064. It was up as high as 4088 and even went up as high as 301. At least that's what it showed. So what are we seeing right now? A lot of people are grabbing their quick profits. When it comes to playing with house money, here's what you need to know, or here's a strategy you might think of. Let's say you invested $5,000 into Shiba. All of a sudden it gets up above $10,000. What you might consider doing is going, look at, I invested $5,000. It's now at 10. I'm going to take my original $5,000 out, and now you're just playing with house money. Then you just let it ride. There's no loss for you because, the money that's there that you're using wasn't yours in the first place. I've used this analogy many of times. I say there's a difference between a gambler and a poker player. You could sit down, both the gambler and the poker player sit down with $100. A couple of hands later, they both have $400 in their hands. They're up $300 each. The next hand, they lose $200. A poker player will walk away going, sweet, I've doubled my money. I went from having $100 to now having $200. I gained. A gambler will go, man, I'm down $200. Do you see the difference in mentality? So one of the things you might consider doing, whatever it is you initially invested into Shiba, once it doubles, maybe you think about taking out your initial or maybe half of your initial investment. This way, if there is a total loss, then you really didn't lose that much or you didn't lose anything at all. Does that make sense? I hope so. Dogecoin trying to make its own little run now after Shiba made its. When people see that it is up 23%, they're going to go from Shiba over to Dogecoin, which is not unusual. But to me, there is a bigger army supporting Shiba right now. And they're hell-bent on getting it up to 1 cent. They're burning tokens. I never heard of this before, but they're burning tokens. People are buying a couple $100 worth of Shiba coin, turn around and burning the tokens so there's less in circulation, bringing a lot more value to the Shiba coin. This run is not done. What about the other tokens that we look at or other investments that we talk about? Look at DWAC. It's been added to my list, by the way. It's up 13.30. This is the company that is partnering up with Trump, and they took a small hit. That's after all the people were going, I don't want the stock no more because Trump's into it. And goodbye. It made its correction, and now people are like, wait, I'd rather have the stock with Trump. And now it's going back up. Veracity at 8 cents. Remember how it was lingering between 4 and 5 cents and then 6 cents is now 8 cents? It's up 2.86. It's been in the green now for a couple of days. An inactive wallet containing 5 billion in Shiba coin has made astronomical profits. Yeah, I would say so. A wallet containing, are you ready for this? 70 trillion Shiba coins. A wallet containing 70 trillion Shiba has netted a collector a truly ridiculous return on investments following a spat of purchase made last year. This purchase was just made last year. It's estimated that the buyer purchased around 38 Ethereum, valued at $13,000. So can you imagine investing $13,000 into Shiba between August and October of last year? And now your $13,000 investment is worth $5 billion. I'm staying silent because I want that to sink in just a little bit. This is what I was talking about. There is an opportunity while the value was still low on Shiba that you can get $100. Buy $100 worth of Shiba. Just sit on it. And if it gets up around 1 cent, you're doing pretty good. If it gets to 10 cents, you're doing really good. If it hits $1, you're a millionaire. So after 400 days, the wallet has appreciated $5 billion. The wallet now contains an estimated 5 billion in Shiba tokens. Even more astonishing is the return on the investment the holder has made on their purchase. You ready for this? This is an estimated 38,461,400% return within 400 days on their initial investment. Is Shiba really going to dethrone Dogecoin? It did temporarily. It did. It jumped up above Dogecoin. And now Dogecoin is back up above it. 2 meme coins in the top 11 tokens. That is crazy to think about. There was no crypto bull who, at the end of 2020, predicted the cryptosphere's events of this year. Perhaps most surprising is Shiba rise to become one of the largest digital currencies worldwide. Right now, the token is breathing down the neck of Dogecoin, threatening to dethrone the king of pup coins. Investors are seeking out Shiba price predictions with fervor as they hope Shiba overtakes Doge. Again, it did, but now you can see Doge is back up above Shiba. Shiba came to being last year, branded as the Dogecoin killer, like you have Ethereum killers. The token wanted to be the king of a particular crypto niche, but it has the Dogecoin to thank for its current momentum. If it wasn't for Dogecoin's run from 1 cent to 73 cents early in the spring, Shiba likely wouldn't have attracted the attention it has. So Dogecoin at one time was up to 73 cents. Remember that? And then all of a sudden, the worst thing happened for Dogecoin. Yeah, Elon Musk went on Saturday Night Live. Everybody thought the token was going to run and went up briefly, and it has not recovered since. So Shiba and Doge fighting it out for the number 10 spot. My question to you is this. You see Shiba at 11, Doge at 12. Do you think Doge or Shiba could take over any of these? Polkadot, Hex went on one heck of a run. XRP, I don't know how they can't take over XRP. Without a doubt, there's no disputing. They are the choice of the New World Order. I'm surprised it's still up there being supported at all. CEO of Ripple made no qualms about it, made it perfectly clear that they are doing everything they can to accommodate the New World Order. I've shown you guys that video many of times.
That's the type of dynamic that Swift isn't able to support that we're able to address right now. And that's something we saw just in the last couple of weeks. So we certainly want to see banks succeed in this New World Order and take advantage of these technologies. To the extent we can work with Swift to do that, then that's great.
So nothing like saying, hey, we're here to work with the banks. We are the new SWIFT system. We're here to help the banking system, the very people that cryptocurrencies were trying to get away from. We're here to help the bank in the New World Order. So congratulations, New World Order supporters of XRP. So nothing wrong with getting in bed with the devil. Just remember, you can get burned. So that's what's going on with XRP. I sold all my XRP. I got rid of them. I'm not going to support anybody that jumps in bed with the very criminals that the whole purpose of cryptocurrency existence is to get away from. One is controlled and manipulated by the very people we can't stand, which is those in banking, New World Order. That is the digital currency. The ones who want freedom to be in control of their own money, that would be cryptocurrencies. Decentralized cryptocurrencies. Let's stick to cryptocurrencies, gold and silver. We want decentralized. That's the way to go. That's it for now. Make sure you're not a gambler and you're a poker player. Be strategic. So hit the thumbs up button. If you're not a subscriber, please do so, because when you do, it helps out the channel, and I surely do appreciate it. That's it for now. I'm out.